welcome to Growth Bites, and thanks for joining me
Mm.
today. It's really great to have you. My first question to you is I see you started your
Mm.
first job as working as an engineer with IBM, right? So tell us a bit more
Yeah.
about your journey. How did you become a data
Mm.
scientist?
Right out of college, I joined IBM as an engineer. Uh, but I was actually going through the training at IBM, and I think I liked the analyst roles more than what I was doing at IBM because I had few friends, very close friends who were working in data science, and they actually I had like a lot of interactions with these people, and according to them, like it was a very growing field. I mean, it was an up and coming area, and it was something which was like very interested I was very interested in. So I actually thought, let me actually start preparing for these kind of jobs. So I started my preparation, gave some interviews, and then finally land up at Global Analytics, which is an analytics company. And I think Global Analytics gave me a really good start to actually progress in this particular area of work.
So your first stint as an analyst was with Global Analytics.
Global Analytics, yeah.
Oh, okay. And then where all you worked? I know you currently with
Mm.
Amazon, right? So prior to this, could you just talk about your experience?
Yeah. Yeah, so I have been like in multiple places after joining Global Analytics. So I worked in Global Analytics for a year, and I moved to Bangalore after working there. Global Analytics has their office in Gurgaon and Chennai. I was in their Chennai office. Uh, so after that, I actually joined Altisource, where I was working on document classification tasks, basically automating a lot of like business processes which actually use documents. And I was working as a lead data scientist there, and worked on improving the current state of the document parsing system that we had there. And then from there on, I joined Walmart Labs. In Walmart Labs, I was working for the catalog data science team, where uh, we were trying to solve the problem of like making sense of the data that we get from sellers. So
Okay.
Walmart has like a really big inventory, and we get a lot of media uh, from our sellers, like product images, product description, and there are like a lot of forms that you have to fill before you can sell your product on Walmart. So I worked there for some time on the catalog data science team, and then moved to Future Group, where I was working as a data scientist. And the problems that we were working on were recommendation, ranking, and then and some like use cases which were related to insurance also. So in Future Group, I had like good experience of like multiple different projects. And then 6 months back, I joined Amazon, where I'm currently working in. And I think Amazon's culture is like very different from all of these experiences. So I'm like learning a lot of things here, not just like data science related, but also like interpersonal, professional. Like how do you actually make sure that you are delivering value to the customers?
Okay. Okay. So also, if you look at the market, the role of data scientists now
Hmm.
is like the buzzword career
Hmm.
in the market, and also seen as
Yeah.
one of the lucrative
Hmm.
jobs
Hmm.
that exist in the market, right?
Hmm.
So, what do you
Yeah.
think one should really know about, becoming
Hmm.
a data scientist, according to you? And do you agree
Hmm.
with all the buzz that we hear in the market?
Hmm.
Because now, if you see
Yeah.
suddenly, I think the top
Hmm.
most subscribed course is the
Hmm.
data science. Everybody wants to become a
Yeah.
data science, right? So, what should one
Yeah.
really know to become a
Hmm. Hmm.
data scientist?
Yeah. So I think as you rightly said, like there's a lot of buzz around data science in the market. Like if you ask an average engineer in Bangalore, I think
Yeah.
the answer will be like, I want to actually work as a data scientist somewhere. And I think the reason why it has become such an like a buzzword right now is because a lot of companies have a lot of data and they are like automating a lot of their work using that data. And uh, it's something where you are actually uh, getting paid really well. I think that also becomes a very important reason. And I think it's a role where you are actually working on a business problem, but you are doing a lot of science also. So it's not that the answers are out there and you have to, you can actually get them like immediately, but you have to do some research, you have to do some experiments to come up at the right answer. And it has like a lot of maths and computer science into it. And yeah, that's one part. But the second thing is basically a lot of these businesses actually are deriving a lot of benefit from data science, whether it is fashion, whether it is retail, grocery, finance. If you look at any of these industries, I mean, they have started gathering a lot of data because they know they can automate their business processes with this data, right? And
Yeah.
that's where data scientists come in. And I think that's the reason like businesses are actually getting value. So there's like, of course, the demand is there, and that's why like uh, uh, people are actually interested in doing that because of all these multiple reasons.
So, what are some of the top skills one should have,
Mhm,
according to you, to become a data
mhm,
scientist?
mhm. Yeah, I think to become a data scientist, the first and foremost thing is to actually have a problem solving mindset. Because every day you get a problem which is kind of a case study in itself, and you have to use uh, like your skills of maths, computer science, and all of these core areas to actually solve the problem. Uh, so I'll say like it's a role where you are actually doing the work of an consultant, but you also have to make sure that your solutions are like grounded in like quantitatively, right?
Okay.
You can't just hypothesize about the answers, but you have to use like statistics, machine learning, to actually justify uh, your like solutions. So I think in terms of the skills, I think there are of course very hard skills, like you have to know programming, you have to be like good in one of the programming languages which are being used extensively, and then you have to know statistics really well. You have to understand machine learning algorithms. So all of these are like very core skills that should be there. And apart from there, like people should have that problem solving ability, which actually comes from experience and practice. So it's not that all of these are like something which is out of the reach for people, but it actually takes like dedicated time, effort, to actually learn all of these.
You probably, what are some of the top certifications that are valued by the employers,
Mhm.
or some of the top courses
Mhm.
that actually helped you as well?
Mhm. I think, yeah, that's a very good question because, as we said, like initially,
Yeah.
and I think what I have found to be useful are these there are like very good courses on Coursera, like from Andrew Ng, like machine learning. Andrew Ng's machine learning course is really well, and it is something that like a lot of people have actually they are aware of it. And then there is this deep learning specialization course by Andrew Ng, which came like some time ago, and that is also very good. Uh, and these courses are actually introduction to machine learning and deep learning. So if you are someone who actually understands like basics of maths and probability and statistics, then it's a good course to actually start with.
So, as we're talking about, landing a job as a data scientist, right? So, you mentioned that
Hmm.
board helps students in
Hmm.
resume makeover or,
Hmm.
coding and all that.
Yeah.
So, from your experience, what are the tips that you can recommend, or
Hmm.
what's the best way to
Hmm.
prepare if someone just started
Hmm.
out there?
Hmm.
So, what's the best way to prepare
Hmm.
for a data science interview? Some common,
Uh,
yeah,
so yeah, so I think when you are going for an interview, I think the most important thing is to be really prepared. I mean, suppose you get a call from a recruiter,
yeah.
and you should actually take some time to actually prepare. And it might depend on the person, like how long you want to like hold before you actually give the interview. So I'd say like it depends. Some people actually take 2 weeks. Some people take like 2 months
Hmm.
before they're ready for the interview. So make sure that you are really well prepared. And like there are, I would say, four sections to a data science interview. And very quickly, like the first one is like case studies. You should be really, you should do some like some mocks with friends and like colleagues, or maybe somebody you can find uh, online who is like interested in spending time with you on this, because that actually helps a lot. You are being asked like these very general uh, case studies, and you have to like understand the problem and then uh, give out all the solutions. And the second interview is the Python and SQL based interviews, where you are given problems where you have to query the data tables and then find out the answer. So SQL is very important. Uh, and then the third one is statistics and machine learning, which is anyway uh, pro- the core concepts. So these four actually are very important. And when anyone is actually is going into the interview, they should actually brush up all these four different areas so that they don't miss out on anything.
So you talked about the case studies, right? So do you have any reference
Yeah.
sites where people could just, any reference sites on the internet you could share, like case studies with the
Uh,
analysis part?
yeah. Right now, there are very few places where you can actually prepare for these interviews. I mean, there are like so many places where you can learn about all these different topics, but I don't think anyone has actually nailed down like how to actually help anyone to actually go through all of these interview process details. But having said that, I think there is a place called dsinterview.net, or yeah, if you just search for DS interview,
Okay.
it's a good place. They actually they they ask people to actually post their interview experiences, so you can check out like what kind of case studies people are actually asked.
Okay.
And I'm not sure whether they actually provide all the answers to it, but it's something that you have to like, you can do it like over a period of time. I mean, you don't have to prepare on like a single day. I mean, if you get a case study, then you can make sure that you understand what kind of like details you have to give, and you can like prepare notes where this was the case study, this is what I did. So when I'm presented with a new one, then I'll try to follow the same process. And the second place is basically all of these bigger tech companies. They have really good tech blogs, and they actually post a lot of problems and their solution that they have worked on. So for example, Amazon, like they have Amazon Science, which is a website where you can actually see a lot of projects that Amazon has done. And they actually present it in a nice way. They actually give you the context. They tell you what the problem is and how the team actually solved it. And similarly, like all of these other companies like Facebook, Google, they have their blogs where they post a lot of these solved problems
Okay.
that they have done in the past.
Okay. So, what's exciting for you as a data scientist? What
Mhm,
excites you the most,
mhm,
both the work that you do as a
mhm.
data scientist for you?
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's actually solving a customer's problem and helping a business to actually improve their bottom line. These are like very important for me because I don't want to like spend a lot of time working on a problem uh, and at the end of the day, like having a very small impact. So that's one. And the second thing is like the field itself. I think, to be really honest, like all of these techniques are so evolving. Like every day you see that deep learning actually solved a new problem, right? So there is no, I think, I would say, limitation on how much you can actually like improve these systems and how you can actually apply it to like new areas. I think that's really exciting because Google recently solved this protein folding problem, which was supposed to be like a big problem in biology. And I mean, for a normal person, it would seem like so unobvious that like deep learning is solving the biggest or most oldest problem in biology and by a huge margin. I
Yeah.
mean, all of these other techniques where people do so much experiment in the lab and they spend so much money and you can actually you don't need all of that. I mean, you can solve that problem with deep learning. So that's really amazing. And I think it's a field where you can't get bored. There's just too many things out there,
Yeah.
and you can keep yourself fresh with all of these ideas.
What kind
Hmm.
of opportunities that
Hmm.
data science? So, what
Hmm.
according to you is the future of data science from you?
Hmm.
What do you see?
Yeah. So mm, actually, I see like a lot of industries are there are industries where I think data science has proved to be really helpful. For example, e-commerce, like most of their use cases are powered by data science. If you look at the recommendation on the website, like every touch point, like most of them are like powered by machine learning at the back end.
Yeah.
So that's there. And in finance, if you see, like uh, there are for sure like these document passing or document understanding automation,
Yeah.
which is happening, and it's been happening for a long time, and it is going to be like even better in the future. So that's one area. And there are areas where like uh, for example, like trading. So in Goldman Sachs in Bangalore and in other offices, they're actually hiring a lot of machine learning engineers and data scientists to actually work alongside their traders.
Yeah.
uh, and all of these things are actually going to improve over time, right? So it's just the beginning. And I think from my first job, like I tend to be like a little pessimistic about data science. Not pessimistic, just critical.
Okay.
Like why do we actually need this, or how is it going to pan out in future? I mean, this is a problem which actually I try to actually like uh, ponder over. And I think when I see across all of these use cases, you'll see that it is a logical solution to so many problems. And automation is something which is like happening for like a very long time. But now with machine learning, the pace of automation is high. You don't need a lot of people to actually support a particular store. So in Amazon, this thing, they have this Amazon Fresh, or No, I'm sorry, Amazon Go, where you can actually just go inside the store and you can pick and choose whatever you want, and you just walk out,
Okay.
and there is nobody who will assist you. You can use your mobile phone uh, to actually do most of your shopping, right? And there are like so many success stories of data science in all of these fields that I
Yeah.
feel really positive about the future, even though I try to be like critical of it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So finally, before we end, I have one question which is posed by a lot.
Hmm,
There's a lot of
hmm,
queries that we received, right? So
hmm,
someone,
hmm,
let's say someone who has spent few
hmm,
years in a specific
hmm,
role, right? Not
hmm,
necessarily a technical background, or someone from non-technical
hmm,
background, or even a technical background,
hmm,
and they want to now
hmm,
make a shift and transition to
hmm,
data science,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
I mean,
hmm,
I have seen a lot of, lot of professionals
hmm,
out there in the market,
hmm, hmm,
spending money on, pursuing all these
hmm,
courses to become a data scientist.
hmm,
So, from your
hmm,
experience, I want to understand from your experience or your
hmm,
perspective,
hmm,
uh, do
hmm,
you think if someone has spent, like, let's say
hmm,
5 years or 6 years, and now they want to make a shift to become a data
hmm,
scientist, what would
hmm,
you recommend? Is probably,
hmm,
is it a right move, or you would
hmm,
suggest them spending time in a specific role
hmm,
and then make a shift, or how easy for them?
hmm.
I know it's really not that easy, but from your
Yeah, yeah.
perspective, is this career transition a good
Hmm,
move or not?
hmm. Uh, I think that's a very valid question, and it is something that comes up like so many times. Uh, I think I'll just add my perspective, and people have to like judge all of these different options and perspectives
Yeah,
from their lenses as well. Uh, so my perspective is basically, if you are interested in data science, then you should actually uh, try to move into data science. Uh, and there might be like so many different reasons why you want to switch, right? I mean, it might be money, it might be like future, it might be because you are interested in
yeah,
maths and computer science, or any of these reasons. Maybe the job that you are doing is not really well, but you are trying to see what options you have,
yeah,
and this looks like a good one. So whatever your reason is for for a change, I mean, you should actually try to pursue that uh, with a lot of rigor and energy, because I think, as I said, um the interview process for data science covers like very basic things like case studies, problem identification,
yeah,
and some of the core skills like statistics and machine learning and programming. So if you look at these like different skill sets, I mean, if you have, let's say, 4 or 5 years of experience, then you have worked in a business setting, you understand like the case study part really well,
yeah,
right? So that's like almost covered if you have like worked for some time in industry. And for the other core skills, basically you want to take a problem and you want to solve it with ML, with machine learning. And that's where you have to spend some time like practicing all of these other skills. And I don't think they are uh, like very advanced or very complicated for a like for a normal person to actually digest. So
okay,
I think it's a very good move because there is already a lot of demand. And if you can like practice, and if you can like go over all of these topics, uh, then it's not very difficult to actually uh, get into data science, because I've seen a lot of people getting into data science from different fields,
yeah,
and there have been a lot of failures as well. So it's not a simple process. I mean, it will be like different for everyone, but this is my opinion, and people should like understand their own like perspective and judge from their side whether like it makes sense or not.
Yeah.
But I would encourage everyone to actually uh, everyone who is actually interested in data science to actually pursue it, because it's really good, as we have like discussed why.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And finally, what are your top three pieces of advice if you have to sum it up in
Hmm,
three, I mean,
hmm,
suggest three pieces of advice? What would you suggest?
hmm. Uh, I think my suggestion are like very practical. I
Yeah.
think you have to like, as we discussed, like there are four topics:
Yeah.
case studies, programming, statistics, and machine learning. And for each of them, I can recommend one thing that people can actually go and practice over. For case studies, look at the tech blogs, read their project problems, and see how they actually solve them. For programming, I'd say go to lead code and just solve as many problems as you can. Uh, and for uh, statistics, you can you can take initial courses from Khan Academy. I think that's also a very good place.
Yeah.
And for machine learning, as I said, like for beginners, you can start with Andrew Ng's
Yeah.
Coursera course on machine learning.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Vivek. Thanks a lot for your tips and
Yeah.
valuable suggestions. And
Hmm.
I wish you all the
Sure.
best. And hopefully, we're going to catch up again in case if we do get more
Yeah.
questions. But thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Sure.
your time. Yeah.
No problem. It was my pleasure. Yeah. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.